So I got out and I wanted to do the right thing. I like was still fucking up a little bit, like with drugs and selling them and doing them and just like not wanting to work a full-time job because I couldn't find one. And if I did, it was like McDonald's and I don't know. I guess my pride like wouldn't let me do that. I don't know why, but so I ended up
make a lot of money working at McDonald's now.
Well, yeah, now you can.
Yeah, nowadays.
So I tried to change at that point, but I was still like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And like my grandma that raised me, because my dad died when I was 7, my mom was a drug addict and alcoholic and still is. I was at work one day. I'm working at the gym now, so I'm starting to like make that transition into like legal work and shit. And I had met a good girl, so that helped a lot. Someone that never been in the life or, you know, any of that type stuff. I'm at the gym and I'm leaving. I'm going home. My grandfather calls me and he's like, hey, go to St. Joe's in Tampa. That's where they're bringing your grandma. So all this time, like that I was doing the pills and everything, like my grandma had like anxiety because my dad died and my aunt died. So she buried both of her kids when they were like in their 20s. So she already had like anxiety. And then she had fibromyalgia, so she was on the pain pills and the Xanax, like for her own shit. But I think along the line, like even though like she didn't do crazy shit, but she was addicted, like she had to have it every day or she felt like shit. Mm-hmm. So she ended up getting put on oxygen because of like, you know, that shit slows down your respiratory, so you can be shortness of breath and shit like that. Mm-hmm. So they put her on the oxygen. They put the thing in the garage of my grandparents' house, and they run the cable into the living room, and then she can walk into her bedroom so that she can still use it. And she was trying to quit smoking, but I guess she wanted a cigarette. So she lit a cigarette, and the oxygen caught and burned her, like literally engulfed her body. And my grandpa's in the front room, so he can't hear her scream because she's literally on fire and can't breathe. So, like, I think that went on for a couple minutes, and then he finally had went out and saw her and, like, you know, did what he had to do to get her to they ended up Bayflighting her to the burn unit, and she had, like, third-degree burns over, I think, like, 80% of her body. Like, she was, like, in a coma or whatever they had did to her when I got there, and she had a DNR, so there wasn't, like, there was nothing we could do to give her back her quality of life, you know what I mean? So... yeah, so, and she, I think, had a DNR, man, because, like, she buried both of her kids, and then she helped raise me, and now here I am, you know, fucking doing dumb shit. So I think she was just done with life, man, honestly. Like, she told my grandfather, if anything ever comes down to it, don't save me, let me go. So,
Jesus, fuck, man.
So that happened, and then I kind of was like, fuck everything. You know what I mean? I kind of wilded out for a good minute, like a couple months or something. And the girl I was with, like, stayed with me, and she was like, you're better than this, da-da-da-da-da. So over time, man, I just, like, finally had started to, like, understand, like, what life is. You know what I mean? Like, I never had, like, responsibilities. I never showed up where I said I was going to show up at what time. You know what I mean? I was always, like, I was just, like holidays would pass and I was like, dude, Christmas was like 2 months ago. Like I was so in like a fog, man, where I don't even know how I'm alive, honestly. Like the shit that not only I put in my body, but, you know, just being in that life, like, you know, you're getting robbed, you're robbing people. Like there's a lot of shit. So, you know, having a good woman in my life, I think was like one of the catalysts to me making changes because like I don't have any family, you know what I mean? Like I don't have anybody really other than like my wife. I ended up marrying her. And so she kind of like I guess I was like just ready to change too, but I wanted to do something more with my life. And then I started doing the personal training and I got really good at that, and I started making like bonuses for being like top seller in the state and shit. And then the shit happened with my grandma, and I was working at one gym and I kind of just like fell off. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck it. I was just ready to kill myself, honestly. Cause I did, you know, it was upsetting. And then, so I stopped working at this one gym, and that's when I meet the dude saying like, you helped me open this gym. Like he made me a personal training manager. And I started opening the gym with him, and I did exactly what he said. I didn't do anything wrong, you know what I mean? And he was just like, no one's going to believe you. You're a felon. So when this was going on, the Department of Labor sued him because he did this to 3 other people. So there was going to be like an investigation on it. And I was calling him on the phone because I couldn't get him to give me my checks. And then he finally just said, like, I'm going to give you a trespassing warrant if you come up here and ask for it. Like, he wouldn't even do it. He'd have somebody else tell me that.
Where's this guy now?
He ended up losing the gym because he's a fucking scumbag, and that's karma. But he's I don't want to. His name's Joe. So, but anyways, I recorded all his phone calls, and I did an episode on it on my channel and told the whole story and like put him out there on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then after I did
just
that,
don't dox him. Yeah,
exactly. So, and then that's when I found out about the YouTube, man. Like, we were kind of talking. I was, on break at work. I was watching YouTube. Next thing I know, there's like all these people that have been to prison telling their stories. And like, I watched their channels go from like 10,000 subscribers to, 100,000, 200, 300,000. And now they're like making a living, feeding their whole family. And just from telling like their life, like what they went through.
Yeah.
So I saw all that going on YouTube, and I was like, well, I can do that. And I got a lot of good stories I could tell. And I know a lot of people that have been in trouble. So it's pretty going to be easy for me to find people. Right. So as I'm watching the YouTube, like there was like, there was a lot of drama in the prison genre, like between channels and shit. So I never saw a channel, man, where somebody like went on, told all their stories, and then like use that, turned it into a positive, and then would help people that are still stuck in that, like where I was, confusion on like, what am I going to do with my life? I don't see a way for change. And so on my stuff, like I did an episode on the mayor I was telling you about. I do like stuff like that, but when I do like interviews with people, or I'm telling like, one of my personal stories, like I'm not just glorifying it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I made 50 grand one month selling pills, but that was 1 month. I made a lot of money, but I didn't have shit to show for that when it was all done and said, when you're making a lot of money, you spend a lot of money. And then when you get high, you really spend a lot of money on shit that you don't even know. Like I would wake up and be like, I bought that, like not even know.
Yeah.
So I wanted to like, make my channel different, obviously. And I just want to, spread the message that like people can change, because I didn't think I could, you know what I mean? And if like, I've been with nothing, you know what I mean? I've been not knowing where I was going to sleep at night. Like that's where it got to. And then having no family even makes that more of a, so I wanted to help people is why I started. And I also want, to be able to, like, this is like a side hustle, work for myself, and hopefully something will come out of it. And if not, I'll just do personal training. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Some of the most interesting people I've ever met have been on this show. People that have been in prison for a long time.
Yeah.
Talented people that have had a lot of time to reflect. You know what I mean? They have nothing to distract themselves with except look inward and, reflect on their own lives. And that combined with the people that they've met and the story that there's most straight up the most fascinating people are people that have, done a lot of time in prison.
I think it makes you appreciate the smaller things in life.